Welcome, everybody, to Delve and Dash. This is episode 45, I believe, we are on tonight here at Proficiency Bonus. My name is Michael, your most humble and merciful Dungeon Master for the evening. So glad that you guys are joining us for yet another Dungeons & Dragons adventure. We're going to throw a quick shout out to some of our sponsors and supporters. First, we want to thank Twitch, Streamlabs, Team MZ, Many-Sided Dice, and our good friends over at Little Dragon Corp for all their support. You can type in !Little Dragon in the Twitch chat to get a quick link to their storefront where you can order some pretty awesome dice. And if you use that coupon code PROBONUS during checkout, you'll get 10% off of your order. We left off last time with our group attempting to hide. Now, I'm going to share a picture with you guys in your Discord. And I'm hoping that this works okay. Roll20 was being difficult for me earlier, so I could not black out the interior, so you just imagine that you don't see the interior. I'm going to drag this in just to give you an idea of what you're looking at from the top, and I'll kind of describe to you where you are. Those of you that are watching on Twitch, you are not going to see an image. You'll just have to take my word for it, and... Theater of the mind.
So imagine that I can't see the whole layout of the castle.
Right. Imagine that the whole layout is absent. That and I ran out of time right before stream and wanted to make sure my Discord cameras were set, to be honest. So I want to see down in the bottom left-hand corner of that image was that palisade, about 4 or 5 foot tall fence that you guys can see. Do you see that greenery to the right of that?
Yes.
That is where you guys are currently hiding. Shard is close to that wooden fence. You guys are in the greenery. And I would say Franklin is out in front of it in his shell. Put some mud and moss all over his shell, and he's hiding amongst some rocks and some things that are there. That part that sticks out of the castle, right there in the middle, you see that part that kind of looks like a half circle?
Yes.
That's where it's 2 stories tall there. And that's where you saw that kind of frog-like creature like peeking up over between the battlements top of that castle wall. The rest of the wall, you can see there's that thick moat all around it. And that's where Shard went to kind of explore a little bit and found that there were crocodiles swimming in that moat around that castle. And to the north of that map, you can see all those little round huts. That's where that really muddy part was that I said there were a bunch of huts up there at the top. And right where that water comes in to the left is where the canoes are all kind of pulled up onto the shore. So you guys came in from the left and are working your way to the right on that image.
Okay.
Does that help lay it out a little bit better for what you guys were envisioning?
My mind was completely different. So yes.
Well, that's good. Okay, so you guys heard the sounds coming back. You've heard some draconic voices. Franklin, you would recognize some of the sounds of the voices, just kind of bickering with one another, telling somebody to hurry up, stop splashing them. Just small talk, gibberish as they approach. And you can see that the canoes, those 3 canoes that were filled with Lizardfolk, are arriving back to the shore. And they shore the canoes right into the mud. And you can see that they are heavily weighted down with boxes and crates. And they all begin to just put their oars down, and they begin to start picking up several of these boxes and crates. Some of them are trying, it looks like they're trying to carry as many as possible so they don't have to keep on making return trips. It does look like possibly a few return trips might need to be made. And their feet sink into the mud as they start to move their way across the ground. Franklin, after about a moment, you see like a few of them pass by, and it looks like they're going right to, do you see that where that half circle is to the north of it? There's like an opening on the map.
Yeah.
It seems like that's where they're headed. So they're walking in that direction, and all of a sudden, one of them looks over towards you guys.
Oh yeah, my stealth was a 0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's still holding, like, he's holding a massive crate. And Franklin, well, you guys are all watching, so you guys can tell. These are the crates. I'm not sure who saw it, but these are the crates that have that kind of clawed red paint on them. It seems like all of these crates have those as they're moving by. One of them stops, looks over his shoulder at the lizard folk behind him. Looks back again, looks over at where Franklin is. Snapjaw, do you remember a large turtle hanging out near the castle? And the one, you can see some of the other lizard folk are just walking by. They don't seem to care. He looks back. I don't recall. Is that not a turtle shell? Sitting right there. It looks a lot like a turtle shell, yes.
I'm gonna come out of my shell and kind of stretch as if I'm just waking up.
It is a turtle. And they're just staring at you.
Saying draconic. I'm gonna reply back to me like, "Don't mind me. I'm just a wandering hermit," which isn't technically a lie.
It's not. No. Go ahead and make a persuasion check, Franklin.
Let's see. That's 15.
15. Interesting. He speaks our language. It is true. Perhaps. Well, carry on. Make your way, hermit. And they just start slinking away from you, following the rest of the group.
Okay, I'm just gonna start writing things in the papers that I have because I'm a hermit and I have like a note scroll full of notes. I'm gonna continue those notes
Okay.
as if I'm to look busy.
Okay. Yeah. They take the crates and just continue on. And they just head on to the front gate of this place. Shard, you can hear some, like, sniffing on the other side of the wooden palisade fence that you're next to.
Can I just wiggle through the bushes closer to the tower over here?
Yeah.
Would I be able to tell if that sniffing sounds like dogs or maybe like giant lizard pets?
Make a nature check. Make a nature check.
22.
22. From your experience, it sounds like a bunch of lizards slinking around in mud. And it kind of smells like it too.
Okay.
Yeah, Zin, what were you doing as you were moving through the brush there?
I'm gonna take Vix out of my scarf
Okay.
and kind of like try to toss him from this brush to the brush that's like directly on the castle.
Okay.
Just like to get him to glide over there.
Sure. That's easy enough. It's only about 10 feet.
Okay. And then once he glides over there, I'm gonna try to get him to like hitch a ride on one of the lizard men's like clothes or something, if they're wearing clothes.
They're not really wearing much clothes. They have like makeshift armor that's kind of put on themselves. Very primitive, loincloth-esque stuff. You may be able to hitch a ride on one of the the crates or something like that.
Sure. He'll try for a crate or something.
Okay. Is he trying to be sneaky about it, or is he just jumping on it?
He's trying to be sneaky. He's not trying to die.
Okay. Yeah, you can see that one of the lizard men has a larger crate that he's carrying and two smaller ones on the top, and there's a little bit of a gap in between the two at the top.
That's perfect.
So go ahead and make a stealth check with Vix.
All right. Natural 20. So
Nice.
that's going to be natural 20. Just 20.
Just 20? Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Vix, crawling around in this brush, looks onto the lizard folk as they're arriving and heading in, and waits for that moment that this lizard folk kind of looks away, and he jumps onto the top like a little squirrel jumping from branch to branch and just goes in between the two boxes.
All right, I'm gonna grab Dusk's shoulder. I'm gonna like make my way back to him, and I'm gonna watch through Vix's eyes.
Okay.
See where they're taking these crates.
Okay. Perfect. As you're taking a moment to watch, are any of you doing anything else on the outside?
If I can do so without being seen, I might slink a little farther from the fence and just let people know that there be lizard beasts in there.
Okay.
I just basically want to keep an eye where Franklin's going. I don't know, just to know where he
haven't
is. Okay, so you're standing. Okay, gotcha.
He's just like sitting amongst a bunch of rocks over here next to that little area of the moat there that seems almost protrude out towards your direction. He's just taking notes. He seems to be convinced. He seems to have convinced these individuals that he's just a hermit passing through the swamp.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just gonna stay in the bush and keep hidden.
Okay.
I'm gonna whisper. Vix is on the boxes, riding them to see where they're going. I'll keep you updated.
Okay.
I'll just like tap his shoulder so he knows I heard him.
Okay. How far can you keep like looking through Vix's eyes?
That's a
100
solid
feet,
question.
I think.
I'm pretty sure it's 100 feet.
It's 100 feet. Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I have to pull up the spell again.
Okay.
It's either that or 120 or something like that. Oh, this was one of those things that was really weird with this spell. It doesn't technically say you have to be within a certain range to see through their eyes. You just can't communicate with unless they're within 100 feet. So I think that's a DM. Yeah, I think that's a DM call there.
Because it says while your familiar is within 100 feet of you, you can communicate with it telepathically.
Period.
And then additionally, as an action, you can see through your familiar's eyes and hear what it hears until the start of your next turn.
So as long as you keep redoing it, I think it's just you can do it wherever.
So it seems like you can still see through it and hear things, but
I just can't talk to
you
him.
just can't communicate with it after it gets out of your range. Interesting.
Right.
That's interesting wording of that.
It's weird.
It is. That is a little weird. Okay. So you're taking a moment to look through its eyes. These lizard folks seem to be moving the boxes into the castle. You can see that this first room that they're going through there's probably about a dozen frog-like creatures milling about in the mud of the room. This room looks like a mess. There are some wooden planks that are a little bit covered with mud, but they lead in and then over to this. Do you guys see on your map, there's like a causeway? It's like a bridge type thing that goes from that half circle area into the actual castle complex.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's like wood placed there almost as a way for them to not have to step through all this mud and muck. But it seems like these frog-like creatures enjoy it. You can also, Vix also notices that there are a couple what look to be larger, just normal frogs sitting in the muck, and their eyes are just like blinking out in the mud.
Lots of frogs in the first room.
The boxes are continuing to be carried down that causeway, so down that whole hallway. You do notice that there is no roof or upper level here. It's just like an open bridge.
Okay.
And let me double check on my Roll20 map to see how far your creature is getting out of your range, just so I know. Because I think you're about right there. Oh gosh. Yeah. Wait a second. This is not the scale. There's no.
About 130 feet away.
There's no way that's 130 feet away.
That would be a huge castle.
Yep.
That is not the scale. Because each one of those squares, your tokens are 5 feet. So that doesn't make any sense. So each one of the boxes is.
What does the book say about its scale? Because
According to this map, each square is 20 feet. To the map you sent us.
Yeah, and for some reason, like, well, maybe it is the
I think that
scale.
adds up.
Maybe it is. I would say you're probably right here along the edge. So I would say, yeah, basically as soon as you get into that room and as soon as you can still see, but you're out of communication range now.
Okay, that's fine.
Just so you're aware.
That's fine.
Did you want to say anything before Vix got out of your range?
Once you get to the room where they set down the boxes, look around really quick and then try to come back.
Okay. So you get that.
That's it.
You get that out really quick. Okay.
Yeah.
As they're coming down the causeway, you notice that it goes down, and there's definitely it turns to the left, but you can see coming around the bend, there's a few human males that come around the bend. And you notice these were the individuals that were with Asbero Jos as he arrived here. And it looks like they are headed back out of the causeway. And they're
heading towards like us.
They're heading
basically.
towards you guys. Yes.
The humans with the guy are heading towards us.
I will quietly relay that information over to Shard.
Okay.
Again, I'll tap Dusk on the shoulder so he knows I heard him.
Zen, not yourself.
Wait, yeah, sorry.
Yes, I heard that.
Dusk is beating himself over there.
Has Franklin moved farther away at this point?
He's still within earshot.
Okay, so if someone's moving towards us, then it's not necessarily like they're going directly for us. They could be going for Franklin. They could be going for the Palisades.
I don't think they see us, but them seeing Franklin's not a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're coming down the bridge.
Yeah. They haven't seen, from what you guys can tell, they haven't seen anybody yet. They're just on their way.
how long have I been just sort of sitting here?
It's probably just been a few minutes.
I don't know how far. Franklin has really good hearing, so I'm gonna whisper in his direction. Franklin, people are coming from the caravan. You need to hide. Hopefully he hears that.
Does a 6 hear it?
Oh God.
What's your passive? What's your passive on this one? Because
My
your passive's probably
is a 14.
Yeah, with a passive 14, I would say you'd hear it because you're just kind of chilling. So it'd be probably more of your passive perception than having to actually have to
Okay,
roll.
I'm just gonna morph into a tiny spider and start just walking around the castle.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so you guys watch him
There's
shrink
both of
to
mine.
that familiar. It's really hard to see him because he's like down in the mud now. Okay. Is there a particular direction that you wanted to travel?
I just want to search the castle.
Okay, so you go.
Just sort of stay along the walls and walk around the whole thing
Okay, so you.
on the inside. So
Bro, those frogs
Okay.
are gonna eat you. They're gonna be like, "Bleh."
actually, before I morph, could I have cast Pass Without Trace?
Yeah, you could do it.
Okay, I'll do that because this way, when I roll my stealth roll, even if I roll a 1, it's not going to be awful.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah, you could easily do that. Finish your incantations and then morph into a tiny spider.
We said a tiny spider has a dex of 3, right? I don't remember.
I can find out.
Is Franklin close enough that that spell can affect more than just him?
Once it moves, it'd be gone from us.
Yes.
Once we're out of the 30-foot range.
As soon as he moves, it's going to. Let's see, spider. I believe I got my D&D Beyond ready to go here. Your dexterity is a 14 plus 2.
That puts my stealth check at a 15.
And actually, wait, tiny spiders have the stealth skill at a plus 4.
Yeah, so okay, so that puts me at 17. I rolled a 3.
Okay. 17 is very good considering both Lizardfolk and Bullywugs have a crap passive perception. so that is good. So you're crawling your way. So you're wanting to go into those same doors that you saw Vix go through, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you got it. So following after the Lizardfolk. Back to Vix's eyes. Turns to the left at the end of the hall.
Okay.
And starts moving to the north. And you can see that it opens up to an inner area. It kind of looks like there was an open area in this castle. It's it's the outer wall, and then you've got the inner wall kind of deal. And there's an open,
kind of like the foyer,
kind of like a courtyard, so to speak.
Okay, courtyard.
And
okay.
This circular thing, it almost looks round in the middle of the map there, in the middle of that inner wall. That looks like that's the keep part of the castle.
Oh, okay.
So that's enclosed, so you can't see anything but the rock wall and covered in vines and things of that nature. In this courtyard, you can see that there are probably 4 to 6 more of those frog-like bullywug creatures. And there's probably like 3 or 4, a handful of lizard folk, and it looks like they have maybe 2 giant lizards in there, and it looks like they're training them.
At the end of the hall, there's like a lot of people training giant lizards in a courtyard.
Can tap on the shoulder, relay that to Shard.
It sounds like we have little chance of going in without fighting.
I don't think we can go in.
I don't know what you're talking about. I got in there without fighting.
Well, we all can't turn into tiny spiders.
You level David Druid and you can.
One thing that you do notice is the lizard folk begin to walk, if you're looking at the map, towards as they're walking north, they start to bend towards the doors on the west side. There are some red rectangles there on that map to the west, and there are some chambers. They walk through the first door.
Walks through the first door on the west side.
Mm-hmm. And as they go in, you can notice that there are some individuals inside. Several humans, male and female. Not just humans. You do see a couple dwarves, a couple halflings, a tiefling, dressed in strange garbs. They look like they're wearing some kind of black regalia type attire. And the lizard folk seem to bring these crates in, and you can see there's a bunch of crates on the right side of this wall. And they start just setting these crates down. And as you're looking through these eyes, you notice there are several tables within the room. And there are a bunch of valuable items lying on the tables. And these individuals in this regalia are going through it. It looks like they have rags and they're cleaning it. And it looks like they're doing like an inventory.
Okay. Hey, so there's a room with a bunch of treasure in it, and there are people wearing like black clothes. Looks like they're doing an inventory of all the items and cleaning them.
Cleaning them.
Let me know when I eventually make my way into that room.
Vix is probably going to try to make his way back now since they set down the boxes. I mean, actually, the orders were to look around that room.
Yeah.
So I guess he would look around that room.
Okay. While he's getting ready to do that, Franklin, as you are making your way into the room, I think your spider speed is still 20 feet, which is ridiculously fast for a tiny spider.
Yeah, and then if I double move, that's 40.
40
so.
feet. Yeah. So you make your way in. You notice the same thing as Vix did going through. There are several of those frog-like creatures and massive frogs within that first chamber. And you also notice, and you would have noticed this too, Vix, there are steps that lead up to that second floor in that first chamber. I think it might be on that map there if you look closer to it within that half circle region. And as you're walking in, Franklin, you do notice, looking up, that these human individuals that you recognize as the ones that brought Esbero Jose here are exiting, and they just walk right by you. And it looks like they're headed to the front door. And you start heading down the causeway, sneaking alongside the inner side of the walls. And moving down the hall, you don't see anything else. You make your way into that open courtyard. Notice those bullywugs, the same thing that Vic saw. You can see that there are some lizardfolk training some giant lizards.
Okay, I'm just gonna continue searching around the place. I'm gonna check every room, and I've got 2 hours in this form.
2 hours? Okay. Shard and Dusk, anything from you guys out front? Just gonna stay put?
Nope.
Okay.
Just gonna stay there.
Stay there. You guys.
And all the boxes have been picked up and taken in at this point.
It does seem like there are a few more boxes out in the canoes. So it looks like at least a few of these lizard folk are going to have to make a return trip to grab those. But you guys do notice that the humans, the 3 human males that brought Esbera, come into view. They seem to be talking with one another.
Can we hear their conversation?
Yeah. One of them saying, "Oh gosh, I can't wait to get out of this muck." And then the other one responds, "Yeah, tell me about it. I have this stuff caked on my shoes for about 3 days after this. It smells so terrible. Those frog creatures are disgusting. Yeah, those bullywugs, they'll just eat their own shit. Ugh, what a mess. Well, we can at least tell the boss that the package has been delivered. Yeah, hopefully we won't have to come back here. This is just gross. I don't know, those dragon claws in there, they can have the place." And they seem to just go up to the canoe that they came in. They just start to... 2 of them get in, they slide the canoe back in, one of them hops in, and... good riddance. And they start splashing the oars into the water, and they head up in the same direction in which you guys came from.
Two less people we gotta fight later.
I'm all for waiting until the lizard folk come back out for the last crates.
To do.
We broke the number 1 rule of D&D: don't split the party, so be safe.
How how difficult would it be to sort of go around the other way of the castle and just scope out the walls, trying to stay behind the brush? So I noticed that part of the map there's a lot of sort of foliage.
Oh,
on the south side.
On the south side? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you think you'd be pretty good at it. I mean, it'd be probably tougher to do as a large group.
Okay. I'm going.
But yeah,
to go...
you're right. There's definitely a lot of foliage down there that you could easily hide behind. It's just.
All right, I'll let the party know. I'm going to go check out that area. I'm not going in. I'm just seeing if I can find any other avenues of possibly approaching this place if we need to. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay. Well, we will be waiting here then. Try to stay hidden.
I don't respond because I cannot.
Yeah, Zin is kind of just halfway there.
I'll be right back.
Okay,
Okay.
Go ahead and make a stealth check as you begin to. Basically, you're moving past these what seem to be long houses here, and moving around to the foliage to the south. So
I'm also going to burn my daily pass without trace.
okay, nice.
Really glad I did. I got a 20.
A 20 total with your pass without trace.
Yes.
Okay, that's very good. Very stealthy. As Shard seems to just vanish from you, Dusk. As he moves around through see him disappear behind one of those long houses, and then you just don't notice him anymore. Okay.
As I make my way kind of down that side, I'm looking for two things. One is a space where one could possibly jump across the moat.
Okay.
And parts of the wall that look like they might be climbable.
Okay.
And whether or not, there's obvious slits for arrows or defenses like that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, definitely. While you are moving away around the castle, Zin, you're still looking through Vix's eyes.
Yeah, he's gonna make the worst mistake in his life.
Please make an additional stealth check for Vix because he's trying to sneak out of his advantageous position to move around the room as sneaky as he can. He does notice that there are some what look to be in the past arrow slits that have been torn a little bit more open by the weather here. And he can see that he has a way out. There are what the equivalent of like 3 windows on that western side of that wall.
Perfect. He rolled an 11.
He rolled an 11.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me double check something very fast. Wow. Wow, I'm impressed. There comes a moment where you're watching through his eyes as he's skittering around the room. You do notice that not only are there these, it looks like 4 of these individuals are the ones that are really decked out in this black clothing, like these black cloaks and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. It looks like there's about a dozen others in that room as he gets a better view. They seem to be wearing normal clothes, but they're just extremely dirty, probably just because of from living here in the midst of this swamp or being here during this time. Mm-hmm. Trying to double check, see if there's anything else in there that you would take notice. Yeah, I mean, from what you can tell through his eyes, it looks like this stuff is being opened, looked through, accounted for, and even repackaged. Like it's being repackaged. It's almost like they're going through and sorting it and then repacking it with a little bit more care. And then you make your way to the windowsill. and hop up onto the windowsill. And there's probably about 5, 10, 50 feet of water between the windowsill and probably the closest land that he could land on.
How high up is he?
Not very high. It's strange. Like when this thing flooded, it's almost as if the water's near the bottom of the windowsill.
I mean, I'm not in control of him, so he's just gonna come back.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's gonna basically try to
he can glide.
jump and
though.
glide.
He can glide 30 feet.
He glides 30 feet and then hits the water.
Oh.
And frantically starts to swim.
He can only swim like 10 feet around.
Okay. He's swimming.
Can't you just snap him out of existence?
Well, that's
Notsley's within 100 feet of me, I think.
Oh, okay.
yeah, and he's still not close enough yet to you to do that. So you're watching that, and Dusk just watched Shard just disappear, vanish. So Dusk is feeling very lonely right now. Franklin, you came into the room, this place, and I think you transferred into a spider before. Did he do it before or after Zin told you guys where the boxes were going? I can't remember.
I think it was just a little bit before I found out where the boxes actually were.
So, what? It's your call from here, Franklin. Which direction would you go? You can see there's a few doors, one to the west, one to the east, and one to the south as you come into this open courtyard.
Well, I'm gonna start in the west and work my way around.
Start with the west? Okay. So you skitter underneath, squeezing yourself underneath this closed door here at the very bottom left. It opens up into a chamber. Let me double check this chamber. I think I remember what it is, but I'm going to double check so I don't tell you the wrong thing. It looks to you like some sort of chapel. Very dirty, but a lot cleaner than the other areas that you've seen so far.
Is there anything to do with the items I'm looking for my backstory in this room?
Go to make a perception check.
Okay, I got a 20 total.
20 total. Not directly. But as you're looking around, you can see there is a handsome wooden statue of a dragon along one of the walls. But this dragon has 5 heads.
I think we all know that's Tynat.
It's the workmanship is surprisingly good, but not without flaws. And it seems as if the heads of this creature, from what you know of dragonkind and running into maybe a few dragonborn and silver over your adventures, it's strange. The heads of these dragons almost look more like lizardfolk than they do dragonkind. It's interesting.
Okay, next room.
Okay, while you're inspecting that, I want to go to Shard down here to the south, sneaking through. Shard, as you're moving around the south, you do notice that there are several openings within that causeway, that bridge-like area, It almost looks like they used to be, it almost seems like the causeway used to have higher walls, but they have crumbled a little bit. And they used to have maybe arched openings within this causeway, and it looks like some of them are kind of open. There is a location here right behind. If you look at that, there's like a part that jets out right, and it looks like it's pointing right to the inner part of that half circle. It's basically right in the middle of the map in the south. It's like a little peninsula that kind of sticks out. You could probably jump across the water there and get to the wall and into the causeway easily. And farther down, there is at the end of the castle wall where this circular chamber is that you can see all the way to your right on the image. There is a landmass that gets closer to it, and you can see that it's very similar. It almost looks like windows or enlarged arrow slits down here. And it looks like you could jump over the water and possibly, it's probably about 10 feet of a jump, but it looks like you could grab and make your way into the window in that way.
Okay. I'll go far enough along that little shoreline, hiding behind the brushes, so that I can see the east wall and just get a scope of, the scale of the whole building and try and make a mental note of everything I'm seeing.
Sure.
For report purposes, and then I'll head back to dusk.
Okay. Perfect. I can go ahead and let you know you do see a few other windows. This eastern side, it looks like there's a lot more water, and the water it's definitely wider. You would have to swim. You don't think, without any enhancements or magical abilities, you don't think you're going to jump across that. To the north there, you don't go up there too far, but there looks like there is at the very top a spot where you could probably jump across the water and get into this smaller circle chamber on the top right-hand corner of that castle. If that makes sense.
Do I make it back to dusk that incident then?
As you make your way, yeah, you'll make your way back without incident. Zin.
Yeah.
You're watching.
Can familiars dash?
Yeah, he is.
Okay. So he can go 10 feet or 20 feet in the water then.
You don't notice anything. He swims, gets up into the mud. Got mud all over him. Like, it's deep
poor
here.
Buddy.
He's really hating his life right now. And he skitters over towards you and seems to hop over and glide a little bit. Not as nice, obviously, as whenever he was dry. But he glides over to you and skitters and pops up onto your shoulder.
All right, I put him back in the hood. He's gone through a lot today, or in the scarf.
Yeah, he's covered in mud. He's got like it caked under his little legs and feet, and he smells like poo.
Poor buddy. I'll clean him off in like a old shirt. I'm sure I have traveling clothes. It's just some shirt. I'm gonna like clean him off a little bit. I'll leave the shirt here. Screw that shirt.
Okay, perfect.
And I'll put him in the scarf.
Okay, let's go back to Franklin for one moment. Franklin, it looks like there is, to the south of this chamber, there is just an open, there's no door there, it's just an open way into an elongated chamber beyond. It looks like there's another open doorway to the west and a closed door to the west.
I'm going to check under the closed door first.
Okay, perfect. Closed door. As you head into there, you notice that there are... I like how when the stairs, like they put stairs on there and they put an arrow on there, but it doesn't go up or down, it goes sideways. So it's like, okay, is it stairs going up or is it stairs going down? So I've got to double check my notes. But it looks like you can see
I'm assuming the arrow points up.
Yeah. It doesn't say whether they're going up or down here, but I am going to say it looks like, yes, they go up here. So there is a staircase as you crawl under the door. There's a staircase that leads up to a second story in this chamber. And you also notice that there are two individuals that have what seem to be decent looking cots. You notice there are 4 cots set up within this room. Couple wooden cabinets. Looks like somebody's using this as a living quarters. And there are 2 individuals that they seem to be wearing black cloaks with some kind of just regalia and different things like hanging from them. They just seem to be relaxing.
Okay.
One of them's kind of relaxing in his cot, reading a book. The other one's just sitting there.
Okay, I'm not going to go upstairs yet. I'm going to finish the ground floor.
Okay. All right. So you're going to crawl back under the door there?
Yep.
Okay. Which one of the open chambers do you want to go through next? The one to the west or the south?
Let's continue west.
Okay. So you go into this smaller section off to the west of this room. It looks like you come into an area that contains a bunch of broken stools. Looks like some rotted altar cloths and some corroded, like old images and icons and things of that nature. It kind of looks like whenever people break things and they think they're going to fix it one day and they just throw it into a room. It looks like a bunch of just things that are just being stored here.
Okay, next room.
Okay. You make your way to the south chamber and notice that... That's interesting. There it is. Okay. It's strange. There are a couple paintings that look like they've fallen off the wall. There's a couple hanging on the wall. Looks like maybe it was used as a gallery space. But right now it's just dark and cold and empty.
Okay, next room.
Okay. So you're scooting. I would say you probably took about 20 minutes off of your time with those rooms as you're scooting kind of through and looking all around. Shard, you arrive back at dusk.
Welcome. Did you find anything interesting?
There are a few places we could get in if necessary.
Okay.
2 to the south, at least 1 to the north.
In my last couple of seconds in seeing what Vix was seeing, apparently it looks like that they're looking at treasure pieces and then repackaging them, it seems, for further movement. So I guess we're not done following these.
Maybe we're not.
Why would they clean them if they were to move them back to the swamp? Perhaps they're taking them...
It seemed like they were sorting them. I'm not really sure why. They were sorting them and cleaning them. I don't know if they have maybe a thing. I didn't really get to see. I gave Vic specific instructions and he followed them to a T.
Maybe they're just cleaning them to clean them since they've gotten to their destination. That could also be the possibility.
But why would they repackage them? They're like very carefully repackaging them. Maybe.
And I would assume they have a lot of treasure in there, so they can't keep everything out.
Do you guys want to storm the castle?
Definitely not. That is not a good idea at all.
Storm the castle. I love it.
Perhaps they are storing wealth, simply so that when society inevitably collapses, they will be the richest people.
Well, I mean, they are called the Cult of the Dragon, so I mean, maybe they're worshiping a dragon. So if the dragon ever shows up, they have a horde to give it.
Maybe while we're here, a dragon will show up and it will become its horde.
Maybe. Maybe there's one that already calls this castle its home.
Yeah.
So you think this is a tribute to their?
I'm not sure. That's just another, just one of those possibilities.
Can we be certain they are not moving it out of this castle? I've heard of
We can
maggots
spend.
that can link places far away.
If that's the case, there's only way we would know that for sure if we got into the castle somehow. But I don't see us getting into the castle without noticed.
There is a way, I think.
Shard, Shard, another thing I wanted to mention, when you went to the back side of the castle, you got a little bit of a better look at it. Probably at about the roof level of this thing, it looks like there's probably some of these towers that are on the corners of the castle look to be multiple stories high, like 3 stories probably. But on the top of the one when you guys look at your image, in the top right-hand corner, that smaller circle tower, there's this strange broken dome that seems to be over top of it that has an opening, kind of like, imagine, what are the places called that have the massive telescopes that stick out of?
An observatory?
Kind of like an observatory. But it looks broken. It looks like the dome was made out of like wood and part of it's like broken in.
Does the rest of these towers look like they're covered on top?
Good question. It would be really hard for you to tell, I think, for the rest of the towers.
Okay.
Because of just how you're looking up at the castle. You don't see any like apparent like rooftops or anything. So there could be a flat roof up there, but you're not 100% sure from your vantage point. You'd have to look at it from an elevated position probably to see.
How close is the nearest like rooftop?
How close is the
like
nearest rooftop?
How far? Yeah, like how many feet high?
The closest to you guys right now would be on top of that half circle area that protrudes out.
How high is that? Is that like 30 feet?
It'd be whatever 2 stories would be. It looks like that part's only 2 stories high. So probably about that, give or take.
I could get us up there.
That's where we saw the frog individual, I believe. So that's probably not a good idea. But Shard, this tower that you were mentioning with the broken roof.
I never mentioned a broken roof.
Sorry.
How did you know that?
I figured you were going to tell us that.
He was a lich. He's a lich. That's how he knew. He knows all.
There is a taller but smaller tower on the opposite corner of this, which I think may be a better place to be unobserved, especially if we can confirm that some of the watch frogs are sleeping.
Well, I might have a way of getting us up to the top of that tower if it's...
I believe we may be able to find our way in through the wall. The sides of this building are not what they used to be. Although I have no reservations about climbing, I rather enjoy it.
Let's wait. Well, I guess we can just wait for Franklin to get back, and we can make our way around that side of the castle.
Cue Jeopardy music.
Your druid scout, your druid spider scout.
Hey, best scout we have.
Okay, so Franklin, I'm gonna go back to you. We're gonna transition. That's perfect segue. You come out from under that door, and you can still see that there is the doorway to the east side, and there's the doorway to the south.
Let's go to the east.
Go to the east. So you enter underneath the chamber, and you are met with an immediate smell of mud and dung and filth. And you look around, and it seems as if this is some type of a makeshift barracks. It's been transformed, though. It looks like it may have been a regular barracks at times for this castle whenever it was first built, but now it's been overrun by these bullywugs. You see about a dozen of them in here. And they seem to be just plopping around in muddy filth as they're.
I'll go to the last door.
Oh, before you do that, you do notice that there's another staircase within that room that leads upstairs, and underneath the staircase, you see it looks like 3 wooden chests that are just covered with flies and mud underneath the staircase, like as if they were just like tucked under there.
All right. Last room.
Okay, so you head to the south side room and you open it up, and immediately you can see there is a spiral staircase to your right that leads upstairs. There are also several lizardfolk in this room. And they are surrounding what looks to be some kind of old forge. And they look as if they are attempting to heat iron and steel, and using an anvil. Some of them are pounding with hammers. Looks like they are attempting to make their own weapons.
That's very progressive for a lizard man. I mean, they're pretty dumb. So.
Mm-hmm. That's a shock to you.
Mm-hmm. So I've searched all the rooms on the ground floor now, right?
There is another door. And if you
I'll go to there.
if you look on your map, the image in Discord, it's the right down to the right, bottom right to the south of the map there. There's that circle room down there at the bottom. It's the room on the left of that you'd be crawling under.
I'll do that.
Okay. You make your way into that chamber. You notice yet another staircase that leads upstairs. And this room, you can see that there are, it seems like, it looks like there's a few wooden tables. On the tables, you see like a few decks of cards, a few bone dice. Looks like kind of like a break room or something.
All right, that's all the rooms on the ground floor. I guess I'm going upstairs and start searching.
Okay, you've probably spent another 20 minutes. So you're probably pretty close to your first hour.
Yeah, that gives me 20 minutes before my first hour's up.
Okay. So, well, one thing you do notice is there's 2 open rooms down there in there as well. There's like 2 openings. It's almost like there was like wooden walls built inside this. So there are 2 extra chambers here if you'd like to explore those.
I'll check that first.
Okay.
Yep, I'll definitely check those.
So the one to the west, you do notice that there are, pretty sure I got this, but I want to make sure I'm telling you it right. Several cots that look like they're made from wooden pallets, and it looks like this is where lizardfolk sleep, and there are a few actually sleeping in some of the pallets.
All right,
And
next one,
much of the same. You see a lot of wooden pallets on the floor, covered with old reeds and grass, and a few lizardfolk are resting in this chamber as well.
All right, upstairs I go.
Okay. we'll go out to the rest of you out front as you guys are still kind of communicating as Franklin makes his way up the stairs.
So at this point, he's been gone for a while. I'm hoping nothing bad happened to him.
Yeah, he's been gone for about an hour.
No, it's been 40 minutes. I'm keeping track of my time.
I am not sure. I mean, do we think we should just stay here and wait for him? I mean, this is where he knows if we move, I'm afraid that if he won't be able to find us.
We should storm the castle and find out where he is.
All right, well, let's go. You first.
All
I
right.
think we would hear something from inside if there was trouble.
I actually start walking towards the castle.
No. I pull him back. That was a joke.
Well, I mean, sounded serious, so
We're not storming a castle full of enemies that we do not know what is fully inside. That is certain death.
Has anyone come back for those?
Yeah, has anybody come back from those crates?
Oh yeah, they would have. They would have within that time. Yeah, you guys do notice a few lizard folk come back out. They start loading up those. Don't seem to notice you guys. They just carry about their business. Anything you guys, that seems to be about 4 of them.
Yeah, no. I think we're just waiting to hear from Franklin.
Okay.
This is a stealth mission.
Stealth mission. Okay, so Franklin, you had your way up the stairs. And you come to interesting. It's missing its number. These just look like they look vacant. It looks like there are a couple pallets that were used for like sleeping, but they're like piled up, almost as if maybe they're extra. And just stored up here in this chamber.
And if I look outside, where am I in approximate to the other group?
You are in the, if you look at that image, the bottom right-hand corner on the 2nd floor of that round tower. So you're opposite end
so I'm
of...
very far away.
You are, yes.
Okay, nothing else. I'm gonna go check. I gotta check the rest of this upstairs, so
okay.
I'll be here a while still.
Okay. I can just go ahead and let you know what are in some of these rooms, because with your stealth check 11, there isn't a immediate threat right here.
I got a 17.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're 17.
Mine
Yours
was
was the 11. Yeah, there's no immediate threat up here. You do notice that there are... as you go through a few doors, one of them definitely does look like another vacant room. It looks like most of the 2nd story of this tower is vacant rooms used for storage and other non-useful items. You crawl under the door there to a following chamber, and you can see that there is a staircase that leads down. And if you're remembering right from your downstairs, it leads into that forge area where they're hammering away. And this looks like it is fully stocked with armor, weapons, hundreds of arrows. The metal is really rusty on all these items. It looks like these things have been sitting here for a very long time. Some of the bits of leather and other things that are about them have been chewed to bits by vermin or rats and other things. And it looks very dusty in here, almost as if no one has been using this room at all. It just looks like an old storage room of some sorts. Probably.
Out of game, I'm just trying to find the treasure room. In game, he's actually exploring.
Okay, gotcha. Sure. One thing I do want to point out, I'm going to kind of fast forward your exploration just a little bit because we're just
That's fine.
running out of time and I want to get the rest of the group kind of involved with what we got going on. You make your way back downstairs because it doesn't seem to be like any other way you can go other than back downstairs here. There's no other rooms. So you make your way back up. You remember you saw other stairs. There was another door in the courtyard that was to the northwest that you haven't explored downstairs.
I guess I'll go there first then, because I thought I already explored all of downstairs.
No, you didn't go far enough into the courtyard at first to see those doors. So as you move beyond, you can see that one door. And as you crawl under, you see the exact same thing that Zin saw through Vix's eyes. There are about a dozen people of various sexes and races inside. It seems like they are organizing, cleaning, opening up these boxes, taking things out, restocking them, and there are 4 of those individuals that are wearing those black robes.
Okay, now I would like to check again to see if there's anything involving my backstory here.
Okay. Go ahead and make your perception check.
Natural 20.
Natural 20?
Yes.
Unfortunately, you would know your items very, very well within this organizational system that they got on these tables and stuff. You don't see anything that's sparking anything to you.
All right, I'm going to finish exploring, and then I'm going to run back to the group.
Okay. Make a perception check for me one more time.
Okay, that is a 21.
21. When you went, you're kind of exploring a little bit more. You went to that room that you saw all those bullywugs in that were meddling around. You looked at those chests one more time. You crawled upstairs. There are a few bullywugs upstairs as well. This room doesn't look quite as dirty. And it looks like there are... You can't see them. You can't tell exactly what race they are. They're just covered in filth. But it almost looks like 2 prisoners shackled to the wall.
Of course, I would find this when I'm alone. And I would have to be good aligned. Great. How much longer do I have in my wild shape?
It's been a while, and you know you have some time that you have to scoot across the rest of this ground. So you're kind of at the point where you got to turn around and you got to head back, or else you're going to pop up as you're going to come out of your wild shape.
I mean, it's still good aligned if you come back to get help.
I know, but are they alive?
They are alive.
Okay, I definitely have to go back and get help then.
Okay.
I scurry back.
Okay, you scurry back as quickly as your little 8 spider legs can take you.
I will use the rare ×4 run speed. At least that's how it was in previous editions. I don't know how it is here, but I'm running back.
Okay, yeah, it's basically you're dashing. So yeah, you're making your way back. Nothing seems to have changed as you're moving your way through. It seems like just daily routine keeps on going about, and you make your way back to your group.
I will morph back into me.
Okay.
Welcome back, Franklin.
We thought you were dead.
You've been here waiting for
Why
almost 2 hours.
I be dead. I can
for
be a
time.
spider. Nobody cares about a little spider.
That's not true. I kill spiders all the time.
Oh yeah, some people are very afraid of spiders and they just kill them on sight, but I'm glad to see that you're actually still here.
Well, it's not that I'm scared of spiders. I just don't like them.
That's why I stay out of reach on ceilings and really high up on walls. They have some prisoners. They are alive and need help.
Now we have to storm the castle, guys. Come on, let's storm the castle. Let's save the prisoners.
I don't
Get all the
think
treasure.
storming the castle is the move, though.
What if we move in really, really slow, like a thunderstorm, and then bam, lightning all over the place?
How about we sneak around the castle, choose the best spot to go in, wait until dark, and then enter the castle?
There is a chance that we could rescue these individuals without even anybody knowing we're there. I think that would be the ideal move.
On the map, what tower was that?
If you look at your map, at the bottom right-hand corner where that round area is, and you look just to the north of it, there's a rectangular-like chamber that sticks up. That was the... you guys are looking at the bottom floor, so that was the chamber where there was the 12 bullywugs and the staircase and the chests. But if you go up those stairs, there's a chamber almost identically like it above it on the second floor, and that's where you saw the prisoners.
Okay, I will just explain all of that in Franklinese,
Okay.
so it's really slow.
Okay, gotcha.
Shard, does that sound like anything near where those gaps in the walls were close to by any chance?
So it was a little hard for me to follow where you were implicating that Franklin was. But the prisoners he saw, if I'm correct, the upper left, downstairs?
No.
No?
On your image, look at the bottom right-hand corner of the castle.
Bottom right.
Completely
Yep.
opposite corner.
Completely opposite from where, yeah. Bottom right. Yeah, you actually saw there's a spot there that's only about 10 foot of a jump. It's going to get you on the bottom level, but there are a lot of vines that climb up to the top of this castle. You might be able to climb the wall using some of these vines to the second floor, which I believe, let me double check just to be sure, but I think there are some windows into that second floor chamber on the top too. There are.
It is entirely possible. Do we think this is a job for more than one of us, or would you like me to try and go in and find them myself?
There was 2 individuals, correct, Franklin? I think,
That is correct.
Do they look well enough to, for example, jump over a short, say, 10-foot gap in the moat?
DM, do they look healthy enough to jump a 10-foot?
They're frog people.
From what you could tell, yeah. They
Yes.
they don't look to be like overly beat up. They probably had some injuries, but probably just more so the fact that they're manacled to the wall.
Prisoners.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think the biggest issue is if you get up there, you have to get around the guard people first, right? And then if the guard people make noise, that place is swarming with people.
well, if this window goes into that room, let's say me and Shard could sneak over there, try and free the prisoners. We exit, ideally, without even being seen or heard, back out the window, and then back down, and no one knows. And then what I was thinking is, if we are seen or heard in this act of freeing these 2 prisoners, you 2, Franklin and Zen, could stay on the side of the shore and help us in our retreat. Because again, I don't think fighting this whole keep of people is the smart thing to do.
Agreed. Are there, out of character actually, are there any areas on this map inside the castle that were not seen?
That were not seen by
Yeah.
Frank. A lot of the stuff
Sounds
that's
like he kind of got everywhere.
yeah, basically he got everywhere on the south side, basically, of this castle. He got everywhere on the south side on the first floor and on the second floor. But the north side of the castle up there, all that was explored from that was what you guys could see from what you could see from the outside, and what Zin could see from the upper parts of that long room that he saw them restocking those materials.
Do we want to keep exploring this castle while we are doing this? We have not ascertained for certain where the items are being stored.
I think if we want to do some more exploring, it would probably be safer to have everybody with us, though. Because if we're not by an easy escape route, we would be stuck in there and certainly dead or captured like these other two individuals are.
Yeah, thank you, Christy. Appreciate it. If you guys would like to, we can go a little bit later.
Cool, I'm okay with that.
There is a chance the prisoners may know more than we do. Could be
It's also true.
valuable informants. There is also a chance that they are imprisoned because they are thieves among thieves.
If you give me an hour, I can get in there as a spider, talk to them in spider back.
You can talk to them as a spider?
No, I would be back into being a turtle, talk to them, transform back into a spider, and make my way back.
And he's gone.
Oh no. Oh no, we lost him. He transformed into a spider and took off. He's coming back.
Alright, so that, I don't know why that happens once every game where it just kicks me like that.
It kind of does, yeah. It's always near the end, too. Like, I've noticed that. It's like about always at the same time.
It's weird.
That is strange.
So, what was the last thing you guys heard?
We heard that you would transform into a spider for an hour. You'd go in, you change into your turtle self, talk to them, then transform back, I believe, and then come out.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
You remember seeing bullywugs in that room. There were 2 of them in that room.
You said the room with the prisoner only had the prisoners in it.
No, it had 2. There were 2 bullywugs in that room as well.
Yeah, there were 2 bullywugs.
Okay.
That's what I was referencing.
I misunderstood.
Oh yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Perhaps, Franklin, if you can do this again, we could use your help in exploring the north side of the castle first. It may even be advantageous to make some noise over there somehow to get the guards away from where we want to go in.
I could also be a giant spider and dire wolf to make a distraction. I can also cast Tidal Wave today.
I mean, I think that would be very interesting to use against the opposite side. See what happens, but that would definitely cause a distraction and probably draw the attention of a lot of people.
Now that he said that,
is full of alligators. If you were to turn into an alligator, it could cause a distraction and not indicate that anything was amiss besides an alligator going into the castle.
Do we get the feeling that if he tidal waved the castle wall, it would start to crumble more?
From what
the structure?
from what you got, from what Shard has inspected, and from what Franklin had got to see close up, the outer walls of this castle are thick. And this castle's been standing for quite a long time in rough conditions. It's basically been sitting in here in this watery area and has not seemed to crumple or show any signs of too much wear and tear.
So we have it on good authority that this castle is standing on top of 3 other castles that sank into this one.
That's it, yeah. That's exactly it.
Fair. Huh.
I mean, if we wanted a distraction, I think the tidal wave would probably be the best option. That way, it doesn't really put you at much danger.
Alarm everyone.
Well, yeah, but that's what
Tidal
you.
waves don't happen in swamps.
Well,
That's-
yeah, true, but you wanted a distraction.
They
That
do
would be
now, right?
a big distraction.
I mean, especially if you got that in that courtyard where like everybody
I
is.
can also create a lightning storm that will last for 10 minutes. And I can strike anybody with lightning once every 6 seconds for 10 minutes.
That is terrifying.
Huh.
That's 100 strikes of lightning, I think.
And
It's a lot of lightning.
what is the weather like right now?
It's like it's been most of the time. It's hazy, foggy. You can't really see much of the sky. It's not raining. You don't hear any thunder.
I am concerned that would
That
give
what?
these people any obvious sources of magic would let them know that something is seriously amiss.
Well, then another thing that we could do is Zen, you stay out here on the side. Franklin, you sneak up into the room with as a tiny spider. Me and you, Shard, attempt to climb the wall, and then hopefully we can just take out the 2 guards in the room before they can make any sound.
What am I doing down here?
You're covering our retreat if we are seen.
How?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that can do that?
No.
All right, great.
Leaving me behind sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I take that back now.
If we are to free them, we should make it look like they escaped themselves, perhaps throwing the frogs' bodies into the swamp so the alligators can eat them.
Definitely do that.
Do we care about the north side of the castle? Is that important to you?
I don't think so.
I have enough information that I would be content if we left with what we know. But
Michael, did we see where they're storing the newly sorted crates? Or did we not find that room?
You didn't find. It didn't seem like they were ready to move any yet. They were still busy like sorting and organizing them. But if they had more shipments, you didn't notice other boxes there. So it seems like they're doing this shipment at a time. So there's probably someplace else that these things are going once they're done sorting and tallying what they have.
Well, I kind of think if we do free these guys, we got to stay around to see if they decide to move the crates again. Because we didn't see the crates going anywhere. They're just sorting them. There were no other crates. So they might do this fast once they're done sorting.
If that's the case, we shouldn't break these 2 individuals out until we've seen that. That's what I think.
That's
if
fair.
you all do not mind taking the time, Franklin, can you make 2 trips? One more to explore, and then again to help us get out the prisoners.
I can do that. I could be in animal form for about 4 hours before I need to rest, and then I can do it again.
Yes, I would just like to see where they're taking.
Useful turtle.
He definitely has his uses. Definitely.
That's why we kept him around.
We want to try and find where those boxes are going, Franklin. So, do you think you could sneak back in there and just keep an eye on the boxes until they move them?
I need an hour of rest before I can go back in.
My issue is I'm worried that they are packing the boxes and then transporting them away from
the castle. Okay.
Rather than putting them in another room.
It is. Well, I mean, that is definitely an option. But if Franklin's in there watching where they're taking the boxes, anyways, if they have a secret room or something like that in the castle, he would know where that was now by just watching the boxes.
That's fair. Yeah.
So, I say
Don't worry about the prisoners at the moment. You can let them know maybe on your way back.
Yes, we will. We will try and free them when we know more about where these boxes are going. Maybe we should move to the other side where we're going to stage this invasion first, and then we can take your little rest that you need there.
That works for me.
So, in the interest of time, our plan is to travel around most of the castle to get to the north side first.
I think the south side.
After that's been
south side. Yeah.
Because the south side is where the prisoners are.
Yes.
But we are going to explore the north side before that, or no?
I believe that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think that'd be up to Franklin. Yeah.
Yeah, I could finish exploring the entirety of the castle while watching those boxes move. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, in the just keeping time in line here. I know Christy said that we could have a few extra minutes, but I don't want to go too late. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Franklin, you get your short rest, so you get your all your wild shapes back, I believe. You transform back into your spider form, I believe, as that's what you're trying to do.
Yep, that's the plan.
Are you headed right to the boxes? Is that where you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to check out the boxes, wait a little bit, then go check the north side of the room and periodically check back.
Okay. You check the boxes. It seems like they're still, after about those 2 hours, it seems like they're you can tell they're getting nearly finished with organizing a lot of this shipment and going through things. You explore a little bit to the north of the castle, taking your time to venture a little bit in northern areas. Did you do the same thing? Did you cast your spell on yourself before you went in?
Yeah, I would have.
Okay, go ahead and make a new stealth check with your plus 10. I'm assuming that you would have.
33.
Nice. Yes. So you are within these boxes. You make your way to the north of where these boxes are kept. There is a door that leads to the north, and there's also a door that leads... it seems like it's going back into the courtyard area.
Okay.
Which one seems to be more something that Franklin would probably go for?
I'll follow the boxes first.
Okay, well, the boxes are still sitting there. They're being stacked.
Okay.
But they're being stacked by that northern door.
I'll check that northern door then.
Okay. As you crawl under that door, you notice that there is a... swamp water seems to be leaking through cracks in the foundation of this room. It seems to be the stone floor underneath you seems to almost be sagging a little bit under some of the water, and there's just a nasty moldy stink about this room. There are some wooden planks that are put from the doorway to an open area within a wooden wall to the western side of the room. You can scoot across that wooden plank pretty easily as you're in your spider, and you make your way into another chamber, which you can see has a staircase that leads down.
I'll follow the staircase.
Okay. You follow the staircase leading down, and it seems as if beneath the castle is a dungeon carved into what appears to be stone and rock. And you open up into a chamber that seems to have some water kind of leaking into it. And it's brightly lit. with a hanging lantern next to the entrance. And there's another one hanging near the northwest opening to another area or another chamber. And only
keep following.
Yeah, all you can really hear is like the sound of dripping water and the occasional sounds of what sounds like distant frogs. You keep following it. Let me double check on my my map right here to make sure I'm leading you in the right direction from what I've got.
And just remember, I stay on walls and ceilings out of reach.
Yeah, out of reach and out of the water, right?
That's right.
that's the best bet for a tiny spider. Don't get in that water. You make your way around the water, along the chamber. It seems to lead into another area. The floor seems to be a little bit misshapen here. It looks as if... Let me double check. There's like a ledge. It seems to be going through the middle of this chamber. It's about a 15-foot drop. And there is a wooden crank-powered crane and several crates. Seems like some crates on top. Some crates look like they've been lowered by the crane and are piled down below. And it seems like there's an open hallway that leads on to the west beyond this chamber.
I will continue to follow.
Okay. Mist seems to be flowing out of this next small chamber. And to a depth of about 3 feet off the ground. So it's almost like this, like imagine dry ice. About 3 feet off the floor and just like caked on the floor. And there are chambers.
Good thing I'm not on the floor.
And there are, it seems like to me the most of it is coming from a chamber, hallway that leads to the west. There are also 2 other hallways that lead out of this way. It looks like some stairs leading ahead of you to the southwest, and directly to the southeast there is another hallway that you can hear what sounds to be several frog noises echoing through the cave.
I'm going to check where the mist is coming from first.
Okay. You head into the misty room. So a mist seems to sweep into this room. It's difficult to see where it's coming from your location. It's almost like seems like it's either rising out of the floor or the mist itself is covering where it's coming from. It's really hard to see that from here, Franklin. It appears to be empty, with just 3 feet of smoke kind of hovering just like dry ice along the floor.
Okay, it appears to be empty. I'm gonna go check where the frog noises are coming.
Okay. So you head to the southeast chamber there, which opens up into a large, cavernous, almost space below the castle. It looks like there is a lake of water here. And you can see several large frogs kind of bobbing in the water. Massive bullfrogs. And you notice also in the water there seem to be several tadpoles swimming about. But not just tiny tadpoles. I'm talking like the size of a medium-sized to large dog.
So you're saying we got froghemoths again?
I'm saying you've got an underground lake that seems to be festering with froggy people in here.
Yeah. Is there anything else in this room?
Let me double check just to be sure. That is where I want to say most. That's most of what you can see from. Let me see. There do seem to be some bats that fly out every once in a while from the ceiling. This looks like a very large chamber. It has a some type of grounded peninsula that stretches out into the middle of the room. And but from what you can see, it just seems like a massive lake with several frogs. Like you're counting, as you're looking around, you're counting with your 8 spider type eyes. Or do they have 6 eyes? Or do they have 8? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I know they have 8
They
legs.
have a certain number.
I know they have 8 legs, but I can't remember how many eyes they do. I think they have more than 2, but scooting around, looking around, man, you count 6, 7, 8, maybe a dozen of these massive like bullfrogs within this lake.
All right, sounds like I'm going to the other room and going up the stairs.
Okay. Let me double check to see if it was up or down. Okay. You head your way. It's actually down. So you make your way down into another chamber. And it looks to be some kind of shrine. There are niches in the walls. They're filled with carvings of frogs, ranging in size. Ranging in the size of like a fist to the size of like a pumpkin. Larger carvings sit on the floor. There are crude renderings of frogs scratched into the walls. And it looks like there's some crudely drawn frog-like symbols that are drawn almost with like chalk or something along the walls. There is...
Would this be like a religion thing? Because I'm trained in religion.
Sure, make a religion check.
Awesome, natural 20.
Natural 20.
That's right.
You recognize... it's almost like there's not one symbol here. There's a combined level of symbols. One of them, I'm gonna probably I'm not gonna pronounce this right, but Gonador. And you recognize it.
Okay.
You recognize it as the god of slimes. Is present here, like symbol of that is present here. You also notice Shar, the goddess of shadows, is present here in symbols.
Oh boy.
But none of these elements seem to be used in some kind of canonical manner. It almost seems like it's thrown together, tossed together haphazardly with these religious notations. You also notice there are individuals in the room. And one of them, there are about 10 bullywugs chilling in this room. One of the individuals, I don't have his image ready to share with you guys in the Discord, so I'm going to share it with you on our Discord call here. One of them is wearing an interesting looking hat that looks like a crocodile's head that has been basically fossilized. And this is what this bullywug looks like. He looks like, can you guys see that picture right there?
Yes.
Yes.
That's not how I imagined him wearing the crocodile.
Yeah, he's wearing it like a crown on his head, like sticking up. He is wearing some robes, and he's got, like a head, a decapitated head, like on his belt. And he's holding some type of staff that is dangling with some insects and other things. And they all seem to be in a moment of reverence at this time within this shrine.
Was he himself wearing any sort of holy symbols?
The ones that you would recognize are the ones that you saw on that check. The god of slimes and the god of shadows.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna head back to that treasure room.
Okay. As you make your way to the treasure room, it seems like there are other individuals. It looks like they're gathering up and getting ready to carry the treasure. You recognize 2 other individuals. Well, you recognize one individual. You don't recognize the other. A male elf wearing black leather armor, seems to have some kind of almost, I imagine it kind of like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat style tunic that comes down. He's got a belt of red tied around his waist. Looks like he has a very crude looking face. Surprisingly for an elf, usually elves have very nice complexion. He looks different. And he approaches with Asbera. And they escort these individuals with the boxes. And they start going to that room and going down the stairs into the cavern, into the dungeon. Are you going to stick with them? Or are you going to follow them the whole way?
I'm going to follow them the whole way.
Okay. They go right to the crane area. They take some of the boxes that were already there. They take the boxes that they have and are bringing down. They use the mechanism of the crane to lower these heavy boxes down that 15 feet within the chamber. There, they gather up the boxes a little bit more, and they take them into that room that was empty but covered. The floor was covered in a mist. At that point, you recognize Asbera begins to circle the room as they're piling these boxes in the center. And he begins to start reciting some incantations and walking in circles around the boxes. After a moment, you notice runes begin to glow in a circle underneath the misty-covered floor in purples and blues. And the boxes all begin to glow with the same kind of magical radiance, and then vanish. And the room once again returns to what it was.
Okay, I'm definitely going to dedicate everything he did to memory.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to follow them out.
Okay.
And then going to rush back to the...
Rush back to the group?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I got to tell him that.
Yes. Absolutely. So Franklin returns to you all.
Imagine Franklin talking about that. It probably takes like 10 minutes for him to explain everything.
Okay.
Well, it looks like you were right, Shard, about them magically transporting them somewhere else. But we found out what we needed to know, so all we gotta do is save these prisoners now.
Well, technically, we did not find out where the boxes are going. If they're
Right, we have to. Our mission is to find out where the boxes are going. We don't know where they go after that magic.
That is true, but I don't think there's any way for us to figure out that unless we go in there and just kill everyone and then just take the leader and get the information from them.
Did he have a spell book on him? Did you see?
Did I see that?
Let me double check. You
could wait.
Yeah, feel free to roleplay while I'm looking this up.
This Asbara, I do not think he tends to stay here. We could set a trap for him and capture him upon his return, assuming he does not leave through the portal.
That is definitely an option we can do. It'd be easier to capture him out keep than it storming the keep.
My worry is if he sees us or hears that we're here, he takes defense behind the portal and teleports himself away or whatever. That would be bad.
DM, is Asbera the one that I realized does understand me when I speak Draconic?
You think so, yes.
Okay.
He does seem to understand Draconic, from what you could gather, your insight. This individual that you saw, Franklin, did not seem to have a spell book. Go ahead and make an insight check, Franklin.
Oh boy. Can I use my passive instead of what I rolled?
You might have DM's inspiration. I mean, you guys still have points of inspiration if you'd like to use them. A 10?
Yeah, I'll use it. Why not? Oh, that's a lot better. 21.
You think perhaps he dabbles in the same kinds of things that you do, based on some of the stuff that he was decked out with. He may be shaman or druid some sort.
Was he wearing any metal armor?
I don't believe.
I don't remember.
I don't believe he.
Because if he is, that doesn't make him a druid.
No.
I mean, druids can still wear metal. They just frown upon
They frown upon it. Yeah, they do.
They got rid of that restriction in 5e.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Still
That's
there.
dumb.
It's actually still there.
It's not a
It is
restriction.
good.
It's just frowned upon. I've looked into it
Yeah,
because
no,
I
it's like
also play a druid.
Everything else, you lose your powers if you wear metal armor.
Well, I
no,
think it was with weapons too, wasn't it? Like originally, like it was supposed to be.
No.
Like, see, I always thought, because I always thought it was strange that they give you as a druid in starting equipment, they say you can take a scimitar, and I'm always like, well, if druids don't like anything metal, would they use a scimitar? I don't know.
I mean, it only specified armor. They don't like to use metal weapons, but they can without breaking their class restriction.
He did have some kind of leather armor on, from what you can remember. He was covered in some robes, some what looks like religious robes that they almost seem to be like a mixture of those two gods that you noticed. And he had a wooden shield like slung over his shoulder.
Got it. So my shield is cooler. Because mine's still a turtle shell.
All right. Well, we're probably going to call it here in the next 5 minutes or so, guys. So anything that you guys want to do
Storm
here?
the castle. Gotta save the people. So that the dude who knew, so the others can join.
Shard is going to recommend that we wait until we think we can sneak in and get the prisoners.
Okay.
Because the prisoners might have some more information that we don't.
Mm-hmm.
And then just go from there.
I agree. Any objections?
Nope.
I mean, just the main thing where if the Bullywugs make noise, then we're probably screwed on all of our plans up until this point. But I mean, if you want to save the people, let's go for it. Really.
I mean, it is true that these people might have more information that we could use.
That's true. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying if they're frog people, they could probably croak pretty loud. You'd have to kill them really fast without them
kill them really
noise.
fast.
But I mean, I'm coming with you. I'm not going to stay down here alone. That's not happening.
Well, yeah, I forgot. It's hard to remember all of your capabilities with your spells. So
I am a battlecaster, but not a solo battlecaster.
All right. So it looks like you guys have a plan.
Yes.
At least a plan A. I'm not sure if you have a plan B, but you have a plan A.
Kill them all. That's plan.
Yeah. We have a choke point. The stairs. That's it.
the stairs. Yeah.
Well, it seems like Christy's chiming in on the stuff about metal. It seems like metal weapons are fine. That's it.
The only comment in the book says that druids, it states they will not wear metal armor or use metal shields. It doesn't actually say like how to handle if someone says, well, my druid's going to.
Yeah.
It just says
They don't.
Well,
yeah.
Sounds like that's a class restriction, and a DM shouldn't let you wear metal armor or use a metal shield if you're a druid.
Well, every DM's going to interpret it a little bit differently, probably. So it'd probably be a DM call. DMs probably decide. Plan B, Christy says, is there is no plan. So that seems legit. It seems like every D&D group out there.
We have no plans. We never have plans. We don't make plans.
But we will see how this goes in our next episode of Delve and Dash.